And we're on. My friend, thank you so much. It's our first time on our Quebec radio show. I'm going to introduce yourself. Who the hell are you, man?
I am Mad Vlad from Wasting Time.
Welcome for the first time. I love that project. I love the Toronto scene. You guys been dedicated to this uh, for many, many times and years, and you had project before. You're not new to the scene, but it's cool that you stick to it. And with the new release, I think it's kind of the masterpiece is gonna be released this weekend. And so, for people maybe in Quebec that never heard the project, how the band started up?
The band initially started up in the late 2000s, but it wasn't very too serious, and then took a bit of a hiatus, and then I regrouped, and in 2016, and we've been together since, and we've been plugging away, and we have our second album coming out March 25th, Once More Without Feeling, and that was done by Steve Riz. Um, so we're really excited about that, and yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
When you started up, the scene was pretty different than now. It was the huge wave of punk rock. There was a couple of great years at the beginning of 2000, and then it slipped away. When you came back, in 2016, the scene has I've changed. It's so diverse now, and it's crazy to see that it's really solid. And Toronto kind of, and still is a huge part of the punk rock scene in Canada.
Yeah, well, I 100% agree with you. With that being said, though, the true hardcores, the punkers, and all that stuff, they've always stayed true. So where there's a will, there's a way, and we're a strong community.
When you get back together, the chemistry is still like intact and everything. But with the time, is it more easy to do a records than the first one you did? Is it more tough now with the experience, or is it still a huge challenge?
No, it's definitely easier because you know what to expect, and you are a little more prepared to, the stuff in the first records when you do like your first earlier recordings and stuff like that. You run into problems like sometimes you don't have the money or the budget to do say pre-production, or you've never even heard of that, and then you want to change tempos or maybe switch out a part, but now you don't have the time to do that. Now you know what the problems could arise going to the second record, so you want to make sure that you're very, very prepared, and you're very, very happy with the product and the turnout. So definitely, the as time goes on, it becomes a lot easier, and definitely more financially easier on time constraints and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, with the pandemic and everything, it's going to be so different now. But it's going to be, I think there's a huge wave of people that was waiting for that and going to be there at the show, going to buy merch. So it's going to be pretty rad. I think you're at the good spot at the right time, with the new record and everything.
Yeah, yeah, I again totally agree with you. We held on to this record for a while to ride out the pandemic. Felt like it was never going to end, but now it is. And we've got this record release party on the 25th with the Anti Queens, March 25th, and came in the 45s, and then
I've
yeah, and then we're gonna be coming out to Montreal for Pooza Fest.
Yeah, it's a crazy lineup, but it's gonna be a great show. The lineup for the show for the release is crazy. We love Cayman, Kristen, and everyone, of course, in the Anti Queens, which is a perfect lineup.
Yeah, I you know again, I think you've been nailing the nail. You've been hitting the nail on the head with what you're saying. It's a very good show for us to play with those guys because you know slightly different music in some aspects, but still kind of the same energy. So you're getting a whole rounded sense of the punk rock community. Like you're getting a bit of ska, you're getting a bit of rock and roll, you're getting a bit of pop punk, you're getting a bit of everything.
Yeah, it's so true. And I think diversity it's happening more. Just before the pandemic, there was more show getting three, different genre, which is pretty rad because, like you said, it bring two different crowd that gonna discover new band, that gonna learn a lot about that experience, and I think it's pretty rad. And it's a perfect lineup. Each band have the same spirit and are still punk as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be. We can't wait. It's only a couple of days away, and it seems like it was never gonna happen, but here we are.
Yeah, can you believe it? It's crazy. I went to a show this Saturday and there was a huge mosh pit. It was crazy. People were not singing. They were yelling their life out. It was crazy. It was like the first time I saw a show. Just like, getting through people to get, in the front row is just like, wow, man.
Yeah, yeah. I've been going to a lot of shows too. I before I used to take it kind of for granted almost. And sometimes you know, there'd be like bands that would be playing and stuff like that. Like, oh, I'll go out next weekend. And now I'm like, no way. I'm gonna go see these guys. And I try and every single time I go out to a show now, I try and buy a piece of merch, just to have a memory of something, because and to support the bands obviously as well. But yeah, I always try and pick up a piece of merch.
Yeah, and it's really important, it keep the wheel going. And like I said, I think people understand way more what it is to be involved in a band than back in the days. And they got time on their end during the pandemic. They listen to way more music, and I think they got aware of what's happening, in their local scene. Just like, okay, I heard the name, now I'm gonna check because I work from home and I can listen to whatever the fuck I want. And I think that's what happened, and that's gonna change everything.
Yeah, for sure.
And the proof is Saturday it was sold out, and it was a local band, three local band, and it was sold out.
Yeah, you know what? That's pretty crazy because we played in Peterborough on Saturday. I believe that was the 19th, and it was pretty packed in there. Like people were going pretty crazy, and it was good to see. And that it's a completely different energy than when you're on your feet than when you're sitting down and you're being forced to sit down to enjoy music. It doesn't hit the same.
No, man, no Netflix, not anymore. Let's go to the punk rock show.
Like XPX said.
So, with the release and the Puzza Fest, Puzza is gonna be great. The lineup is crazy. Is it your first time? I don't think so. Yeah, it's your first time.
It's our very first time, and we are so very thankful to be there. Can't say enough great things about the bands that are playing there, and just really looking for the experience, like forward to the experience. Not to just play, but to just be there and hang out, listen to all those great bands under one banner. So really looking forward to that. I can spend the entire fest there. We're not planning on leaving, so yeah, and the food in Montreal. Oh man, Schwartz. I will have some smoked meat.
Yeah, yeah, and some poutine and all the beers, and it's great. The Puzza vibe is amazing. It's one of the best festival that we have in Quebec. The spirit, like you said, of Montreal being, in the heart of the city in a way, and just seeing all those punks and getting to the booth, getting drunk, and everybody in the morning getting breakfast at the booth. It's such a beautiful punk experience, and you're gonna love it. It's pretty rad.
I can't wait, man. Are you going to Puza?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be there for interviews and seeing all the bands, and so many bands I never saw this year. So yeah. And it's cool. There's a lot of girls out there. It's a great festival for that too, because it's not every festival that pick up all those great band that should have way more exposure. So they really give a chance to a lot of bands.
Yeah. No, that it's a very very exciting time.
And you will see, like, in Quebec, when it's time to party, we party hard. And I think, and I'm sure it's the same in Toronto. Like, when you go to the show now, people that have to get drunk, they're not just getting drunk, they're getting hammer.
Yeah, definitely. It all goes it's like it goes all around in circle. You get hammered, you buy some merch, and then you get some food, and then you talk about the show you just saw.
Yeah, yeah. And then you wake up in the morning and just like, oh God.
I'm late for work.
So I was gonna be after the foods. Is there other shows? Is there any festival? Is there a tour or whatever?
Yeah, yes, there is. So we are going to be making an announcement of our tour. It's after Puza. It will be in the summertime. We can't disclose it yet, but we will be making an announcement. We will be going on tour. And again, we're going to be going all over the place, and then more things to come for sure.
Hell yeah. So, how's the best way to directly encourage you? Of course, go to shows, buy merch, but if people cannot attend the shows, how they can buy merch, and of course, will there be a vinyl, CDs, or whatever?
Yeah, so there will be CDs for this record, and then vinyls. There's a bit of a delay worldwide for vinyls, so that will be.
Rihanna.
What was that?
I blame Rihanna.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, Ariana, Rihanna, all of them. But yeah, there's a little bit of a shortage of vinyls right now, but they will be coming. And in terms of merch, we're getting all that stuff set up. But you could definitely get that. You can also DM us on Instagram, Wasting Time Music. DM us, let us know what you need, and we can make it happen for you. And then yeah, you support us. Go on Spotify, go on YouTube, follow us. Let us know what you think. What's your favorite song? We've released 4 or 5 singles off this record just because of how long the wait was. So let us know which one is your favorite one.
Hell yeah, DIY totally. You guys have the passion, the heart, and it's great. Seriously, I had the chance to listen to a couple of songs of the new record, and it's amazing. Seriously, it's cool to see that you're still driven about punk rock, and you bring something like you said. There's pop element, but there's way more than just that. There's a lot of influences, and people gonna love it.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. We put a lot of work into it, and I get to speak for the guys too. They're very appreciative of kind words. There's a lot of negativity out there in the world right now. So, it's good that the punk community is so close, tightly knit, and we've got these positive stuff coming around.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But I think after the dark time, there's always a huge party, and I think we're there.
Oh, yeah, time to party.
And I think we're ready also for a kind of new generation of new headliner, new band to take the flag over. Not that the old one are not great, but I think that everything is in place for new punk rock, new names, and I think, like I said, there's a huge wave coming, and I think Canadian scene and Toronto scene is very well placed. In Quebec too, we for the first time in many years we have a really solid scene right here.
Yeah, uh, you know, I completely agree with you as well. I feel like right now we're in this cool moment where everything kind of bleeds in together. Where before, back in the day, it was like hip hop, you're a hip hopper, or you're a punk rocker, or you're this, or you're that, and now you've got like Travis Barker doing stuff with MGK, and then you've got like Willow doing stuff with MGK, or you got like all these collabs and stuff like that. And I don't judge anyone who wants to listen to whatever they want to listen to. Music is music. There's a lot of it out there, and it all bleeds in. So if someone who used to listen to hip hop and was a big MGK fan now sees them, he's with Travis Barker, and then they'll discover Blink 182, then the Transplants. You know, and all those other great bands that are out there. If you the Transplants, then there's Rancid, Operation Ivy, and it goes so on and so forth. And you know, this is a real wormhole out there with a lot of great music that this generation hasn't discovered yet.
Amen. You're right. You're totally right. And I think, the new generations of kids, people that are starting their 20 or their middle 20s, they don't care about the genre and they don't identify yourself with the music they're listening to because they're open minded and they're listening to almost everything because of, you know, the way they consume music, through music platform. It's more easy to skip and everything. Back in the days, we have cassette tapes. It was pretty hard, and don't skip the mix because you have to rewind forward, and we really identify ourselves with music back in the days. Like you said, if you were a metalhead, which I was in high school, you didn't listen to the punk rock stuff, but in college you realize how good it is, and then you start to listen to it, and you start a radio show, and 20 years later you're still there, and it's the beauty of it now. You can play with whatever you want. But I think that the Clash were very the one that opened the door to that, and a couple of bands choose that path. But it goes really slowly, and now it's in people's mind.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I know for myself when I was younger, I used to buy CDs and I loved buying a new CD. If there was a song that I really liked, I would go and you know, Sam the Record Man or HMV or whatever, and I would buy a CD and then I would sit at home and I'd open up the case and I would read the lyrics along with the songs. And some of the songs that, you know, initially I would listen to, I would say maybe wouldn't like so much, but after reading the lyrics and kind of understanding what the person's talking about, I always got a little bit closer to the song, because it's like, oh wow, I didn't know that's what he was talking about. Um, so that aspect of having a physical copy is really really cool. As you said too, like not being able to skip things unless you had a CD. But yeah, I really enjoyed that aspect. But on the flip side, having something like Spotify, now they have lyrics attached to it. There's a feature now where they attach lyrics, so that's pretty cool. And then you know, the suggestion of playlists. So I've discovered a bunch of bands, you know, even that I knew they were around, but I never really gave them a whole lot, like a thorough listen to. And now I have, just because of playlists, because you know it kind of just gives you an algorithm, so it's really really cool. I got into, I didn't listen to a lot of gob growing up, but I've gotten into some of that, and man, great, love it.
Yeah. Oh God is amazing, man. There's some gems in what they were doing, like Too Late No Friends and Off How Shallow Take You is a masterpiece for us. All my friends, when the album was released, it just blew our mind, man. That just every track on it is just wow.
Yeah, I even enjoyed the metal one when they kind of went a little harder. I was like, man, there's some really good stuff here too. So
Yeah,
yeah,
remember the name of the last record they released, the last one they did, but it was pretty good. But yeah, it was really, like I said, I love heavy metal, so yeah, I get like the riff Tio want to play and everything. But yeah, I didn't dislike it. The last record was pretty good.
yeah. So the I guess those are the contrasting points.
Yeah, and Tom is in some 41 now,
Yeah,
which was really explode the scene. That time in Toronto scene was amazing, but every time a city explode, it implode after that. And there was a couple rough year in Toronto, but now everything seems back and stronger than ever.
yeah. There's a bunch of great bands coming out of here. Hang Time, our buddies, Anti Queens, Doghouse Rose. Those guys are great too. There's a lot of great bands coming.
Filthy Radicals. I just learned about them a couple of months ago. They're amazing.
Yeah, I believe they're signed to Stomp, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and that's from Montreal, your neck of the woods.
Planet Smasher, Matt.
Yeah, that guy's a great dude.
So, everybody go like their Facebook and Instagram page because you can follow the dates. There's going to be a tour. Of course, we're going to wait in Quebec City too. We're going to see each other at the Buddha, but when you can come say hi to Quebec City, it's pretty rad here too.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times, and I gotta say I love being there. It's always a pain. It's always a little sad to leave, and I actually the song that I kind of hold near and dear to the most to me from this record, I wrote it after being in Montreal. It's called My Limited French. So it was we played a show there, I believe, in 2019, and I'm not very versed in speaking French. I got by, but yeah, it was a great time, and yeah, I wrote that song after playing a show down there.
It's a tough language.
Yeah, I also speak Russian. That one's pretty tough too.
Wow. Wow. That's impressive. I used to study language in college, a little bit of German and a little bit of Spanish. Spanish was kind of more easy because with the French and everything, you have kind of a direction where it's going. But man, German, it really got me to really tough time.
Yeah, it's the hard consonants.
But that's cool, man. It's really, learning language. It's not everybody that can do that. And Greg Graffin from Bad Religion said, it's a kind of intelligence that I don't have. I cannot learn language other than what I'm speaking right now. So,
Oh well, I was cheating because I was born there, so I speak Russian because I was born there. So that's the way I learned it. Otherwise, there's no way. My brain doesn't work like that.
oh shit, and like the conflict right now with Ukraine, it should like it should get you because you were born there.
Yeah, so it's weird because you know like my family, like my mom's mom, is, like is Ukrainian, and my mom's dad is Polish, and my dad's mom is Bulgarian, and my dad's dad is Czech. So everyone kind of came from different spots, and my mom grew up in Ukraine and moved to Russia and all that stuff. So it's very surreal. I don't understand why this is happening. I'm not like a big political guy, but I am definitely upset that I'm sharing my name with this individual.
Yeah,
So
but it's not the people. It's really just that dude.
yeah, it is. Yeah, because I know that that's not the way. I know that's not the way the people that live there view the situation. It's just it's pretty gnarly time.
And you're the proof that was I saying. People like it's so far, but not. We're closer than we think. And when we just turn our back, there's people from Ukraine everywhere in Canada that are in every level of society. We're all together. It's like you said, our blood. People are kind of I'm totally U.S. and no blood. It came from everywhere. We were conquered here by Europe, so in a way my blood has a lot, and we're a huge family like in punk. So yeah, it's like you said, surreal is the word. I'm sad, I'm pissed off, there's a lot of emotion when we think about that just after a pandemic. It's just like a nightmare that never ends.
Yeah, especially with like knowing how history has been. Um, you think you would learn from things like that, and again, it just seems so unnecessary, and I don't know, just to not value human life like that and just kind of throw it by the wayside. It's I don't know. It's kind of I don't know the things I want to say about it. It's tough, but yeah, I'm just disgusted by the I'm disgusted by someone's ability, how someone views like human life to just kind of do whatever they want. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm okay to say that here, but if I was living back home or back in Russia, that I probably wouldn't see the light of day after saying something like that.
Yeah, that's the crazy and scary part of that, but who knows where it's gonna be, in a couple of years. But I'm sure that positive thing, are just in front of us. But right now is just about that, and our hearts goes to those people who just, man, it's just crazy when you think you can be like, in a city where bump can happen any fucking time.
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah, I'm just kind of thinking about what you're saying. I was like, man, yeah, it's a crazy time.
Yeah, yeah, but punk rock is there, and it's a perfect soundtrack for all those emotion I was speaking of, And I think, like I said, your records arrive at the right times. It's a kind of, you guys are kind of therapist.
And yeah, and for myself, it always feels like that. There's times where it goes through like weeks or months at a time where you kind of get stuck in your own head, or life just start kind of happens around you, and then you have a chance to reflect and then write about it. So yeah, it's almost like a form of therapy, I guess.
Yeah, and when I go to see show, I feel great for 2, 3 days, So in a way, you should have the therapist salary. So government, Trudeau, it's about time, man. Those artists should have way more.
Yeah, tell me about it, especially after looking at my tax return today. I was like, man, you guys better start giving me more money because I am losing it.
Yeah, yeah, and they took like 3 months to give you that little, and when you own them money, you have like less than 28 days, and you receive the letters like 3 days before like the end of it, and you just have to fucking pay. God damn it.
How true that is. Yeah, it's very, very one-sided.
We gotta have a lot to sing about in the next year, I think.
Yeah, I just don't want them looking too closely at me, so I'll keep my mouth shut.
Man, Vlad, thank you so much for your time. From the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate it. I love that project. I love that band, and I'm gonna wait till Pudza to see you in person. But thank you for your time, and we invite people, of course, grab the records, buy it if you can. There's a lot of people like me that have great jobs. Buy shirt, buy CDs. We want them on the road. Gas costs a lot right now. Another fucking shitty thing, but help them out, and they can travel and have, the music spread everywhere.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Eric. Man, this was a lot of fun. And I'll come say hi at Pooza, or we'll find each other and we'll have a couple of beers, maybe a corned beef sandwich.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm gonna try to make the cook on the morning, so I serve you your breakfast too. And can't wait. And congratulations again, and thank you for your time and generosity. Of course, we're gonna drink a lot of beers, and let's do another interview in person this time.
Deal, deal. Well,
And
I will see you on the other side, my friend.
and before we leave, can you do us a quick ID, just saying "I this is," and you listen to Prescription Punk Rock.
Sorry. What's the tag?
Just saying "I this is," and you're listening to Prescription Punk Rock.
Prescription punk rock.
Yes.
Hey, this is Vlad from Wasting Time, and you're listening to Prescription Punk Rock.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, Vlad. And I'm going to keep you posted. I'm going to hear the interview in a couple of weeks. Make sure I send all the link. We're not a podcast show. We're live in the studio, but we have the podcast available. And I'm going to make, of course, the whole interview available online. So I'm going to send all the links.
Awesome. Yeah, and we'll post all that stuff.
Thank you so much.
No
And
problem.
here's on me tonight till we see each other at the Puzza.
Okay,
Send me the bill.
bye.
Bye bye. Cheers.
Cheers.